Hello and welcome back to my channel. It is now spring, so I just wanted to do a spring look today. So starting out with my brows, I don't typically do my brows on camera anymore, but I decided to do so today. So I'm using the Anastasia Dip Brow in Ebony, and I'm just brushing up my brow hairs and now lining the bottom of my brows with that brow gel, the pomade, I apologize, the pomade, and just filling in the tail portion. And then for the front of my brows, I'm using the brow gel, the new Dip Brow Gel. I'm using that in the front in the same shade as Ebony. And to conceal the top portion, I'm using the Anastasia Concealer in 6.0. Just carving out the top portion of my brows. And then for underneath, I'm using the P. Louise base in Rumor 2 and just lining underneath my brows. And that first brush that I used to add the brow pomade was a number 1 brush by the Glam Supply from their brow kit. And to add that concealer on the top was the number 4 brush from the Glam Supply. And then to blend out that P. Louise base, I used the number 6 brush from their brow kit as well. And now I'm just adding that P. Louise base all over my lids with that P. Louise brush that came in the Master Collection. And today for eyes, I'm going to use my Jaclyn Hill Vault, and I'm going in with the Armed and Gorgeous palette, and I'm using that yellow shade, and it is called Access. So now going back into another palette from the Vault, I am using the Bling Boss palette, and I'm using this deep burgundy shade called Sparks. I'm going to add that to my crease. Next, I'm just going to carve out my crease with the P. Louise base in Rumor 2 with that same P. Louise brush, just carving it out. And I'm just going to not go all the way, but just leave maybe a quarter of a space left. And then I blend out the ends with my finger. So now I'm going into the Dark Magic palette, and I'm going to use this black shade called Temptress. It has little flecks of silver glitter in there, but you can barely see it. So now going back into the Bling Boss palette, I'm going to use this gorgeous purple shade. I have been waiting to do a look with this purple shade, and it is called Gem. Now there was a lot of controversy about this Jaclyn Hill Vault, but I loved these 4 palettes. Now as you can see, Gem didn't go on very pigmented, so what I did was I wet my brush with my MAC Fix Plus, and as you can see, it is more vibrant and more pigmented. So I didn't add the gem shade all over my lid. As you can see, I left that inner portion bare, and I just go back and forth and blend that in. So going back into the Dark Magic palette, I'm going to use this silver shade called Power Cut, and I'm going to add that to the inner portion of my eye where I left that blank space, and just tapping it in so it blends into the purple. And then I go back and forth with the silver and the purple to make sure that they blend into each other. So now I'm lining my eyes with the Fenty Fly Liner. I don't typically like doing my liner on camera because my eyeliner is not always perfect, and I do go in afterwards and even it out with concealer just to make sure my lines are sharper than what I've done. And for mascara, I'm using my Pat McGrath Fetish Eyes mascara just to coat my lashes to prepare them for lashes. And I have already added my lashes off camera, and they are by the Makeup Shop in the style Kalani. One of my favorite set of lashes, only $8.99. And to prime my face, I'm using the Touch and Soul No Pore Blem Primer. And for foundation, I'm using the Beauty Bakery Cake Mix Foundation. And I see everybody squirt their foundation over their face, so I decided to try that today. And as you can see, I didn't add any concealer on my forehead. I wanted to see how this foundation applied on my forehead to cover my scarring. So as you can see, I did go in with maybe 3 layers of foundation on my forehead for full coverage. But remember, I do have a scar, so that's why I needed so much. So the lighting is a little off right now because the sun is setting on my side, but I do apologize for that. It doesn't last very long. For concealer, I'm using the Too Faced Born This Way concealer, and I'm just gonna blend that out. I know it's very, very light, but you'll see in the end how I blend it all out and everything works flawlessly. And I'm just gonna blend out that concealer on my nose. And this is the Glam Supply number 6 brush from their light kit. And I'm just gonna set my under eye with the Laura Mercier translucent setting powder. And I'm just gonna line underneath my bottom lash line with that same shade called Sparks that I added in the crease. And to set the rest of my face, I'm using my Sephora Micro Smooth powder all over. And I'm also going to contour my nose with my Prime Beauty bronzer in Bronzeville. Now this is a little too dark for me, and I did do a lot of blending off camera. And I also am about to go in a moment with that same bronzer to contour out my cheeks. So here's that bronzer on my cheeks. And I love bronzer. Just look, my face looks totally snatched down. And for blush, I'm using my Juvia's Place blush palette in volume 1, and this orange shade called Toby, Toby. And I'm using the Crayon Case Judy brush. And for highlighter, I'm using the Melt Cosmetics highlighter in the shade Nova. And Nova is my granddaughter's name. And I like this highlighter because it's very soft, very subtle. It's very good for when you do bold looks like this. you don't want to have a lot going on. So I'm just setting my face with my MAC Fix Plus spray in the bloom or cherry blossom bloom. Now I'm using this metallic lip and it is by Clean Color. It doesn't have a name, but the number on the bottom is 1670. And I don't typically match my lips with my eyes, but I decided to just do something a little out there. And in the middle of my lip, I'm going to go in with this Fenty Stunner lip paint in unattached. It's the coral one that she just came out with. She came out with a pink and a coral, so this is the coral one, and it kind of matches my top. And I thought that it matched that spark shade. So this is it. This is the final look. It's one of the looks that I decided to create for spring. I hope that you have enjoyed this video, and also be sure to subscribe. Also click the notification bell so that you can be sure to be notified when I upload videos. I will see you in the next one.